right, so we're going to move on to our next session. And again, I think this is going to be an interesting conversation as well. We do have, I think the topic is going to be about workplace plus and belonging. And we do have a co-founder and principal of Studio A+A. Ms. Primo, I will hand it over to you so you can take it over from here. Mr. Primo Orpilla for everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm excited to be part of Workplace Congress. Thank you for inviting me. I'm going to share my screen and we're going to review some ideas that we have about belonging and kind of what the new workplace is requiring of companies to be thinking about as they begin creating their workplace return to work policy. So give me 1 second here. Get to the right page. Can you guys see that okay?
Yes.
Okay. So just to give you a little background, Studio A+A has been working in the workplace sector for over 30 years. Firm started in Silicon Valley in 91. So we've had a lot of time to kind of see workplace in its many different iterations. And this is no different. Workplace and belonging is really something that we've sort of been striving for a long time, but it seems like after the pandemic, a lot of these things have come to kind of the top of demands in terms of what we can do to kind of make people feel a part of the workplace. How can we have a better environment for people when they return to the workplace? If it wasn't there before, what are the things that are missing? So I think really what the statement should be is the workplace is changing because work is changing. We've had 2.5, 3 years of working remotely in this new hybrid fashion. And in this little map of the workplace, it's sort of a tool that tells you that, yes, we do have the connected environment, which is your building or your campus, but we now have opportunities to work remotely or from your home. So like the two little icons at the bottom shows like possibly working from your apartment or your home in the left side, or in the lower area, possibly working in a remote office in the town closest to you, as opposed to commuting all the way in. But we still have this connected workplace with different typologies and spaces to do different types of work. What we're going to focus on is what really makes people feel a part of the workplace. So this is kind of the statement we'll kind of lead with, because I think it's really, really germane to the subject. The workplace is becoming what the employees want it to be. There's a recognition that employees are actually the customers of our environment, of our workplace environment. Organizations are recognizing that in their investment in corporate real estate doesn't serve the needs of employees, then it's a waste of money. These same organizations are also recognizing that finding and keeping the right people in today's economy is so much more costly than it once was. The workplace needs to be redesigned to capture the voice of the employees rather than the leaders. Organizations need to conceptualize the workplace as a product that is driven by the voice of its customers, which are the employees. So in these next few slides, we're going to talk about some of these exact issues of inclusion and making people feel a part. And we're going to also have these little schematics that diagrammatically describe what that space might be. Like, for instance, this is a lobby and an exterior of a building, and how can we make it more engaging? So based on what we've heard from them, what do employees need the space to provide? And here's 3, we've got 5 in total. But the first one we talk about is connection. We need social spaces and amenities that build relationships and foster community. Team spaces that allow work groups to cross-pollinate, connect in different stages of the project. Stairways and transition areas that encourage people to stop and talk. Public-facing spaces that rekindle company connection to the local community. Environmental branding that connects each worker to the larger purpose shared by all. We need the restorative properties of the workplace. We now need spaces that show the company's investment in people to promote health and well-being, and mental equilibrium. Places of refuge that people can recover on the job, personal stress, and just get away from it for a short period. Gardens, living walls, and biophilic features that might be as readily available at home. Self-improvement amenities like fitness centers, meditation spaces, yoga rooms, food and beverage rooms, etc. We also need the ability to exploration, spaces that encourage experimentation, think tanks, creativity, activity, workshops and studio spaces for teams and individuals to build relationships with like-minded people, well-equipped specialty spaces for work that requires specific technologies, tools, and space configuration. Open engagement spaces that foster free flow of ideas, spontaneous interaction, hands-on methods of work, and places of meaningful work. Regular access to a mix of digital and analog, virtual and tactile, complex and simple interaction with people. The last two are inclusion, spaces that convey welcoming, nuanced understanding of different cultures, work styles, personal circumstances, environments that celebrate cultural diversity through food, art, other cultural aspects, spaces designed for easy and intuitive use by people with the widest variety of physical and cognitive abilities, spaces that use environmental branding and art to show respect and support of all ways people define themselves. Commitment to inclusive work cultures that is visible to employees, prospective employees, and visitors. The last thing is structure. So this is something that's unique, but people like structure. Spaces that provide reliable infrastructure for planning and accomplishing work with a predictable way. Spaces that build company culture and promote its value. And environments that allow young people entering the workforce to learn skills, protocols that will serve them throughout their lives. A destination with protocols that balance employees' needs and the overall vision for their company in an empathetic yet moving way. A flagship that represents in the built environment the sense of purpose a company's mission states. So those are just 5 really, really kind of strong philosophies that we need to think about as we've been developing this return to work typology and spaces. So the next couple of slides, we're going to show some of these particular typologies. When we talk about typologies, we're talking about space types. Here's one that's called PlayLab that we've developed that helps refocus so you can doodle and explore. So when you're working, it consists of hours of screen writing code or stress testing engineering formulas. A respite probably takes the unplugging from technology and doing something with your hands. For millennials, Gen Z, Gen Alpha, employees who continue to be more and more diverse, tactile, mind-relaxing tasks can be pure recreation. The PlayLab is a hub, that kind of an analog space, escape. It can also be an area for modeling, inventing, assuming new postures, and using new muscles. Play is an activity, but it also is a mental state. So here we kind of state the key components of it. Of this particular typology, we have bouncy pads, doodle walls, interactive fidget displays, swings, spinners, snack bar, new technology. And the functions are really to help you tinker, a little bit of respite, a little bit of team building, help you decompress and unplug, socialize, and change your posture. So this is PlayLab. This is what we call Recharge Hub. It helps relax and decompress and balance. Physical wellness and mental being in the workplace are increasingly a priority for future generations. Space specific to those purposes are moving forward in the floor plan. The Recharge Hub combines these amenities with traditional lounge, workshop spaces to create a hub for personal care, for stress reduction. Consolidating these features in a designated zone reinforces oasis or home base character and the concept that makes another tool for building staff loyalty. So the key components are refuge, peace of mind, sleeping, napping, yoga meditation, sensory simulation, connection to nature, fitness, lounge, preventive healthcare, family room, oxygen bar, and the functions are exercise, preventative care, stretching, privacy, personal care, and lounging. And as you can see in the typology, this composes of many, maybe 4 or 5 different postures, whether it be exercise, yoga, stretching, short napping, or even going into a quiet room with darkly lit screens, but sounds and no technology. The next typology is called Audium. It is relax, focus, and decompress. Audium was one of the rooms in the recharge hub. So one component of the recharge hub is the Audium. It's a decompression space, anticipating periods of heightened anxiety and stress. The typology provides a designated area for listening to music, meditating, changing a posture, and thinking about the future. Having a few moments away from the screen can boost creativity, productivity, and morale. Designed as a sequence experience that the space can provide in solitude, while accommodating more than 1 or 2 people, the refuge is a neurodiverse, neurotypical alike. It is a demonstration of how we can share common feelings, whatever our difference, one of them being that we need occasionally us to sit quietly alone. So the key components are privacy space, a sequence of experiential entries, transitions, natural light, programmable light, natural elements, digital projection mapping, plants, screens, curated programmable music, all AI presets, and poofs and padded flooring. So to function as respite, stress relief, energy, recharging, and change in posture. So it's simply a room that is kind of devoid of your technology and more relaxing and separation. The next typology we call is eco cafe. What we put in our bodies is important. We've learned over time when we've had time at home to create our own meals. So we call this eat, create, and gather. The eco cafe is more of a cafeteria. Increasingly, cafes and restaurants everywhere are becoming circular ecosystems with intensely urban environment. Farm fresh may sound like a marketing slogan, but it is a workplace cafe that grows its herbs and vegetables in its own garden in its space and is designed from salvage sources, minimal waste methods, and ideas that the future is already here. Key components are touchless pantry, healthy food offerings, trash composting and recycling, rainwater collection if there's outdoors, herb vegetation garden, solar power lighting, materials from salvage and surplus, reused furnishings, sustainable powered fixtures, and the idea, the function is to eat, socialize, harvest, work off peak hours, gather, and serendipitous connections. So this is the Eco Cafe. Another similar space we call the pit stop. It is to gather, share, and convene. Like a convenience store at the end of a city block, the pit stop is a small gathering place that has crossroads for company employees that they can place people together, connect, socialize, and grab a cup of coffee. It could also be a space which anyone can be at any time. You may go at the moment of repose. So the key components are a variety of furnishing settings, open atmosphere, pantry, storage, contactless fixtures, internal communication board, and snacks. So the idea is that the function is about gathering, cross-pollinating, comfort, lounging, and thinking over coffee. That's the pit stop. Arboretum is a decompressed restore area. If the outdoor space isn't possible, let's say you're in a high-rise building, then the outdoor can be brought inside. These green workplace indoor provide places for concentration away from the noise and pressure of the day. It also allows a feeling of anxiety or being overwhelmed that everyone experiences. Now that can be subsided, and the setting can be proven to diffuse a nature of decompression zone. The Arboretum builds such a zone into the work environment and equips it with a more comfortable seating than a fallen tree trunk and moss covered with stone and apt to provide. So the key components are indoor green spaces, natural environments, in between moments of support, wellness, and community, circadian rhythm lighting, optimized indoor air quality, a variety of uses, respite, collaboration, focus, and circulation, calm work pace to mitigate burnout, and operable walls, indoor, outdoor. So it's a function of respite, change in posture, connection to nature, health, wellness, and well-being. That's Arboretum. So co-working lab is sort of your new work environment. It has many different work postures, whether it be a couch, sit to stand, or bar height, or a little clubby sort of lounge area. It's a hybrid workspace that becomes a flexible, that needs to increase the office, that do more than provide just high density desking. People want choice and the ability to equal their work environment based on personal preference and the task at hand. Some people work best at sit to stand station, some in a lounge, others in collaborative tables, and still others in intimate booths. The area supports neurodiverse working styles and preferences, whether for all day or part of the day. So the key components are a variety of seating solutions, lounge, sit to stand, access to natural light and greenery, adjacency to open circulation for easy access, reservable tables, flexible furniture solutions, acoustical materials and components, access to adjacent privacy booths. So the functions are flexible work styles, employee choice, neurodiverse settings, a variety, adaptability over time. That's co-working lab. The next space we call the Grove. It's a focus and relax and connect area, typically done in the outside of a building. Weather permitting or weather outwitted, we want to be working more outside as a practical way. The Grove is a variety of furniture settings that can accommodate a spectrum of work styles and integrated power and network capability of facilities intimate for gatherings, meeting small groups, discussions, or individual work with built structures that define safe spaces and protect from the elements. These are built with materials that provide shelter while allowing sunlight, air, and penetrate. Structure can accommodate screens for video conferencing. So the key components are a variety of outdoor furniture settings, sheltered spaces, power bollards, power panels, solar power panels, furniture with plug and play capabilities, outdoor heaters, planters. So the function is to focus, connection, communication, network, and respite. That's the Grove. The Porch is a little bit like Recharge Hub. It's many different typologies in combination, conglomerated together. So it's to greet, refresh, and elevate. So think of it like the outside of a building and the common areas of the building. A facade and landscape that balances exterior and interior spaces to purposeful effect. It is sure to provide visitors with employees experience that don't forget configuring outdoor spaces, promenades, walkways, patios, and terraces to create additional programming options, blur the lines between indoor and outdoor, and turn ordinary space into amenities. The components project are companies committed to wellness and well-being and make the work environment a fun place to be. So the key components are community vendor stands, outdoor movie theaters, mobility, storage, and workshops, rentable bikes, storage lockers, lobby concierge, general store, plastic-free grocery store, wintergreen arboretum, the dog park, a promenade, tiered outdoor terraces, fire pits, operable walls. So the function is a community hub as an inclusive amenity, as a purpose for health and wellness activity, optimized lobby experiences, indoor, outdoor experience. That is the Porch. So in the next couple of slides, we're going to show some selected works so you can get an idea of how we apply these typologies into the work environment. So we're going to show you a couple of projects that describe that. This is actually at the Adidas facility. This is a yoga and stretching and meditation area. You can see it's done with very kind of soft lights, warm woods, a lot of really, really calming curtains and effects are in these areas. We also have areas for exercise and areas for play and areas for gathering. The ability to work outdoor is really, really popular these days. So these indoor, outdoor workplaces, to lounge, to work quietly, to work collaboratively, and to work just aside from your regular workstation, it's nice to have this ability to go outside. And now working outside, we've developed new types of spaces, benches with heated seats and heated tables, um, theaters, uh, movable little rooms and conference rooms that can have technology and power and heat, and cover in the inclement weather. They're very specialized with whiteboards and potentially monitors and cameras so that you can be outdoor and take a meeting outside in the natural environment. This is actually a finished project in the Silicon Valley where you see just that. Lots of sitting postures, lots of little pergolas and covers to sit under, powered and light boxes out in the landscape so that you can actually use the outside. This is a remodel of an old building from the early 2000s that we really just put a lot of work and emphasis on the outside workplace. Again, showing how we can emphasize this indoor outdoor quality, make it feel welcoming for whoever wants to work, both indoor and outdoor. So there is no problem having a choice in selecting these postures and settings. Now you can see that we've brought some of this element on the inside of the building. So this is what we call the Arboretum. This is a project in DC where we've created an indoor organic space with lush vegetation, different types of seating. So it doesn't feel like a work area, but people will come in there, have their meetings, work, rest, grab a cup of coffee. This is another sort of Think Lab collaborative space. You have to think of every inch of the building as being some place that you can curl up with a book, pull a pillow up, move a table around, orientate yourselves towards a whiteboard, and just sit down and either work quietly by yourself or work with a group. So these Think Lab spaces that engage the worker with new types of mobile furniture or very, very flexible settings are a part of that environment that encourages people to belong and be a part. Another posture is the smaller, intimate sort of shelters to give yourself a little bit of private space without going into an office, but little shelters that sort of quiet the noise and give you a separate area in which to sit in. Changing the environment to actually mimic organic features. Like this is a area in the Slack headquarters that has dappled light as if you're on underneath a stream, and it shimmers as if the water is passing above you, or you feel like the trees, or a tree trunk in a forest, or you feel the ferns and the vegetation on the floor of the forest floor, or under the lights of kind of a beautiful lit sky. So we try to simulate some of these environments in the interior. We also simulate structures and different postures so that people feel enclosed, feeling a little bit more in a little kind of tight area actually helps people feel comfortable. So for neurodiversity, some of these little tight areas are very comforting and pleasing. And some rooms like this one on the right there's no music, no additional noise. Your basically protocol is to work quietly. And then who does not like to work with a cup of coffee? So we do kind of have sort of more of your hospitality retail environment in the office as well. And then the opportunity to work outside. So if there's any way that you can create a garden, a walkway to engage the employee so that they kind of feel like they're outside the building in a park, you can create your own little parklets in your landscape deck areas. And that's the end of our conversation. And I want to thank you so much.
Great, great. Thank you so much. This was so useful. I think a lot of us would appreciate the different concepts that you showcased here, and just the idea of feeling like you are there, but then you're also, enjoying the nature. You're, getting out of the office a little bit and still being able to be productive, right? I think on the jobs. I think definitely very, very useful. I think one of the things I was gonna maybe ask you, since we have a couple of minutes, maybe just a question or so.
Sure.
I think um, how effective have some of these plans been or concepts been? Um, and how have, I think, employees or workers reciprocated to some of these ideas and concepts?
So in the instance of some of these are very, very kind of new typologies. They have really sort of spurred engagement and people coming to work because a lot of these things you simply can't have at home. So
Mm,
I feel like if you're going to draw people back into the workplace, it needs to provide some things that you just do not find in your home environment. So the Arboretum,
sure.
these outdoor workspaces that have power, the ability to kind of have a sort of collaborative meeting and a more quiet meeting. And actually, these areas of respite, these are becoming quite popular. So these quiet rooms to rest your mind. So I think that, as we begin looking at these new postures and typologies, we have
Mhm.
to actually look at what's missing from the environment that we would choose alternatively and make sure that the workplace is providing them. And they have been pretty well received. I think we're still in the early stage of examining all these different postures, but
Sure.
it is really an effort to create something that makes their work and their life and their balance better.
That's wonderful. I think, yeah, I think as, and again, I know that there's some companies that are basically asking folks to come back into the offices now. We are kind of transitioning from, remote to hybrid type environments. So I'm sure there's going to be more appreciation to some of this that's happening around. And do you see this to be an upward trend going in to the future? Or I know
Oh
it's
yeah,
in beginning stages, but how
yeah.
quick or how fast is it gonna like shoot up?
Well, I feel like the adoption rate has been pretty high. I think we're kind of in the mode where we are certainly in the Bay Area slowly coming back to the workplace a little bit
Mm,
slower than the rest of the country. And a lot of that is because we've had a lot of these amenities over time. So we've
sure.
had a lot of time to sort of experiment with them. But the new the new amenity or the new posture is still sort of being examined. And I think the whole new set of uh, inclusion, neurodiversity, all these things are sort of, they've been in the workplace, they just haven't been as prominent, and now they're like top of mind for all the companies because we want to make sure our employees want to come back, and we got to give them the right reasons to. So we need to show that we're taking care of them.
Great, great. Thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it. A lot of useful information. I think a lot of organizations or leaders from these organizations who are listening to us today can definitely benefit from all the tremendous ideas. And also, maybe somebody will reach out to you too. And you've done fabulous work. Thank you. And thank you for taking the time today to meet with us.
Thank you for inviting me. Thank you so
Awesome.
much.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.